with other commitments. The third point on our agenda, we're quickly going to run through the agenda. Those of you who are not part of LiSLIG Free State, it won't take very long, and then we'll start with the talk by Ms. Maimuna Lond. So I just want to hear, is there any personalia, and people from all over the country can chip in if they want to share anything with us. Any comments from someone? Is there no promotions or graduations or anything amongst all the colleagues? Okay, then I take it that we don't have very much happening so early in the year, except that we all have heard that on the 29th of May, we'll be able to make our crosses to bring out our votes, and we are all looking forward to that. If I look at the participants, I don't see a lot of Free State people. Therefore, I'm going, Maimuna. I hope it will be, well, okay, I see here's something from Apelele. Lebogang Masalela has been appointed at the national office, so we would like to congratulate him with his appointment. I just want to hear, all of you just give me a thumbs up? Can you hear me clearly? Because it's very bad. Okay, I see there's a thumb here or there. It's very bad if you can't see people. This black screen is quite daunting. Okay, I'm going to skip the minutes because it's not relevant to you. Maybe we can do it at the end of the meeting if I see there are other people from the Free State who attends, because I see it's only Mr. Singleton and Moses and Rhonda who are here. So you can, in the meantime, please check the minutes for me, and please let me know in the chat if you see any corrections, and then we can just adopt it afterwards. It's the minutes of the 26th. Oh, Apelele, let me ask you, please just quickly show us the minutes of the 26th of April, that we quickly run through it. It was the talk by Marina Gryvenstein on legal deposit. It was a very interesting talk to hear about all the legal deposit libraries we have across the country, and what are all the legalities that we need to adhere to when we publish different documents. Okay, I would like to know, I see we had apologies from Esma van Tonder and Rian Leroux. Do you see anything that we need to change on page 1? Page 2. Okay. If someone can just show me in the chat from the Free State, if we can have a proposer and a seconder to adopt this minutes. Okay, there we have. I hope all of you can see the chats. There's another chat. Someone who's graduating. Molisi Moremi from CUT is due for graduation on Bachelor of Information Science in April 2024 through UNISA. Congratulations, Molisi. We wish you the best of luck for your future. People from the Free State, will you please just indicate if I can have a proposer and a seconder for the minutes of the 26th of April 2023. Rhonda, can you perhaps indicate, can you propose for us? And someone just second for us, please. Okay, I'm not going to waste the rest of the attendees' time anymore. Let's leave the second minutes. We'll do it in person at our next meeting, which will be on the 18th of April. The only other thing I would like to comment on is the matters of the day. That is point 7 on the agenda. Usually we report on our membership to see how many people we have. And as you all know, we had the meeting on Tuesday where we are busy discussing the constitution and all the changes. And due to the fact that we will work now as sectors and not interest groups anymore, there is no report on our membership as there are no figures currently available. Okay, then we move on to the theme of the day, which is a virtual visit to the Library of Parliament. Ms. Maimuna, can you just indicate to me that you are ready for us?
Hi, good morning. Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you clearly, Ms. Lund. I would just like to introduce her. She has quite an impressive CV. She holds her honours in library science from the University of the Western Cape and masters in information technology from the University of Pretoria. Her career started in 2001 at the Centre for the Study of Higher Education as a library assistant at the University of the Western Cape. In 2004, she joined the same university and their library services as a multimedia librarian. In 2008, she moved to PricewaterhouseCoopers to become a librarian at PricewaterhouseCoopers. In 2011, Ms. Lund became the digital and communications librarian at the University of Western Cape. She then moved to Stellenbosch University, where she worked as a librarian in research impact and research commons. And in 2017, she was appointed as the faculty librarian for agri-science at Stellenbosch University. From 2018, Ms. Lund works as a controller for the Reference and Information Services at the Parliamentary Information Centre of the Parliament of the Republic of South Africa. She is responsible for managing the Reference and Information Services Unit at the Parliament Information Centre. She is passionate about library service with a keen interest in client services. So I am very sure that she is duly educated and informed to take us in a tour through the Library of Parliament. And Ms. Muna Lund, we are really looking forward to this information that you will be sharing to us. Over to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Matilda, for the warm welcome. It's a bit noisy today at Parliament. The reason for it being so noisy is the President is actually here today. He's currently going to be speaking on the, I think it's what traditional leaders in South Africa. And we currently also have the Minister of Social Development, Ms. Lindiwe Zulu, actually sitting in one of our offices in the library. So it's quite noisy here today. And I didn't know that this was all going to be happening at the same time while we're here. Can you see my screen? I just need to know if you can see my screen. Can you hear me?
Ms. Maimuna, yes, we can clearly hear you and we can see your screen. Thank you.
Is it on presenter mode or can you see notes? I'm trying to not show you my notes.
No, it's, I think.
There we go.
Does I? Now it's a big screen.
Okay, great. So what I'm going to firstly do is I'm going to, for today, I'm going to give you a brief introduction of what the work is that Parliament does and the role that the Library of Parliament plays at Parliament. So we've actually changed our name. We're no longer the Parliamentary Information Centre. We went back to Library of Parliament. As you can pick up, if you call yourself Parliamentary Information Centre or PIC, everyone calls you for HR looking for somebody who works at Parliament. And even though we are the custodians of information, we are unfortunately not the white pages or telephone directory. So yeah, I hope you get my sense of humor. So what I wanted to share with you today is, as I said, the role of Parliament, a brief history of the library. I need to do something else quickly. Just hold on. I need to make it presenter view because otherwise I can't see my notes. Just give me 1 second. Right. So the Library of Parliament, okay, so the Library of Parliament is currently situated actually in the National Council of Provinces building. Just hold on. And the mandate of Parliament of South Africa is that we are supposed to serve the people of South Africa. The impact of the library collection, that is all the things that I'm going to speak about and how we do collection development. Sorry, I have to drop that. Right. Parliament of South Africa is an activist and responsive people's parliament that improves the quality of life of South Africans and ensures an enduring equality in our society. The core mandate of Parliament is to contribute to make laws that will improve the lives of South Africans, discuss and debate government policy, help people in their constituencies, approve the budgets of government departments as presented to the Parliament by the Minister of Finance, as you saw yesterday, and make sure that the work that the government promised to do is being done and that the public funds are spent wisely. So the Library of Parliament is currently housed within the National Council of Provinces. And as you can see on my screen, as you lead up to the National Council of Provinces, you see the core vision that Parliament is striving to obtain, which is oversight and accountability, openness, participation, reconciliation, equality, and diversity. So Parliament of South Africa is the national legislature of the country and consists of two houses, namely the National Assembly and the National Council of Provinces. And it is one of the three arms of state, together with the executive, which is the cabinet, and the judiciary, which is the court. So once you walk into these steps of the building, you will see that when we have our elections in May, the 9 provinces of South Africa form part of the National Assembly. And within the National Council of Provinces, this is where the information that is discussed at the provincial level is passed and ratified within Parliament. So when, let's take, for example, a bill is being discussed in Parliament, it first goes through the National Council of Provinces. Once it's passed there, it goes to the National Assembly. And once it's passed there, it goes to the President's office where he ratifies it and then makes it into a legislation. The strategy of the 6th Parliament was to ensure that we reduce poverty, unemployment and inequality, to strengthen oversight and accountability, enhance public involvement, deepen engagement in international fora, strengthening cooperative government, and strengthening legislative capacity. So all of the work that you see being done here is underpinned by different activities within Parliament. And this is built on the executive medium-term strategic framework, which was established in 2014 to 2019. Now that we're going to be working on the new elections, the 7th Parliament will have a different strategy that it will focus on. I've currently put a screen on for you. I am going to deviate from the screen and go to a live where you can see me as well. So the Library of Parliament, which is, as I said, housed in the National Council of Provinces, was established in 1885 by Reverend Leibrand in the National Council of Provinces building. The Library of Parliament is one of the 7 legal deposit libraries in South Africa, which, as you know, means that every publication published and printed in South Africa is required by law to be kept in our library. We have a selection collection development committee that decides which of these publications must be kept. The decision to keep is based on the subject content of the book. And if the resource is aligned to the core business of Parliament, we will retain a copy. We have access to Parliament information generated from 1910, which means we have Hansard's, annexures, debates in Parliament going back as far as 1910. We also have a rare historical collection, which was donated by Sidney Mendelssohn in 1918. He collected everything on South Africa, which includes artworks and literature. We also have a collection or a book that was published by Francois Lavalliente on watercolor paintings from his travels to South Africa during 1781 to 1785. We also, in our rare historical collection, have the Jardine collection, which was bought as part of the Mendelssohn collection, which includes manuscripts, Afrikaner collection, which contains exceptional works from South Africa, and the Anglo-Boer War collection from 1899 to 1902. Currently in the library, there is a table in the basement that is often used as a meeting venue that was used to sign and ratify the National Convention of South Africa in 1909. We also have a corner, which I will show you on our tour, that was donated to the library by John William Jagger. UCT Library is named after him. He used to be a member of Parliament at the Cape House of Assembly. And when he passed away, his daughters presented a plaque to the library in 1933. So as you can see from what I've just spoken about, the Library of Parliament has a rich history that captures the legacy of what South Africa has gone through and where we are moving towards. So Parliament has also got a knowledge management strategy. And this is where the Library of Parliament currently fits in, because the knowledge management strategy that they have covers value chain systemic generation, capturing, storage, sharing, and dissemination of information. The knowledge management strategy is underpinned by 4 focus areas. And the knowledge management strategy is used for knowledge and innovation and creation of value-added knowledge within Parliament. There are 6 strategic outcomes based on these goals. The first one is to enhance oversight and accountability, which I've alluded to earlier, which is based on the medium-term strategic framework for Parliament. And it is used to develop knowledge and expertise in various subjects. The second one is cooperative and collaboration with other spheres of government to facilitate knowledge sharing of resources and knowledge. We're also involved in enhancing public informational participation. The KM strategy is therefore used to store and disseminate knowledge about processes at Parliament. And then finally, it's to build a capable parliamentary service that enhances members to support their constituencies so that they can fill their constitutional obligations. It is effectively designed to build staff capacity and facilitate efficient administrative processes within Parliament and specifically within the sphere of legislation and oversight. I see these questions. Am I going too fast? Okay, that doesn't seem.
I think it's just people in the chat. Some people are struggling with their sound, but I don't think it's a problem on your side. I assume it's a problem on your side because at my computer I can hear you clearly. But I did forget to say you can just continue, but people can put questions in the chat and then I'll just keep an eye on it. And at the end of your talk, we can have a look at the questions.
Okay. So currently, Parliament is focusing on the 7th Parliament Draft Framework. And one of the transformational program points of Parliament is to be a transformative Parliament, a responsive Parliament, that encourages collaborative engagement and effective stakeholder engagement, which is underpinned by operational excellence. These transformation ideals will necessitate Parliament to drive the attainment of national development outcomes, and looks at Parliament's shortcomings and says what recommendations from various committees, commissions, panels, and task teams can be looked at to improve functions at Parliament, specifically for oversight, lawmaking, public participation. Then they review it and implement it. The collaborative engagement theme relates to the formation of new collaborative partnership frameworks within the country. And the effective stakeholder engagement theme relates to reviewing stakeholder needs and expectations and developing and maintaining stakeholder relations. So, for example, South Africa forms part of BRICS, and that is one of the ways in which Parliament of South Africa plays a role in stakeholder engagements that will improve the lives of people, not only in South Africa, but for other African countries and the world at large. I'm going to now move on to the role of the Library of Parliament. To facilitate and implement strategic objectives of Parliament, the Library of Parliament exists to provide the support that the members of Parliament and parliamentary officials require in order to be engaged and meet their core strategic frameworks. So the Library of Parliament provides services and facilities that effectively and efficiently and is underpinned by technology. I can't see him. The president is actually walking in. Do you want me to switch to that screen so you can see him?
Yes, please. We would love to see that.
Okay, let me just see if I can. Where's my mouse? Where's Zoom? Just hold, I'm going to stop sharing my screen. If I can get Zoom to work. Later. Is he standing? It doesn't.
Yeah.
I can't get this thing to work. Where is he? Can you see me?
Yes.
This is
We
Queen's
still-
Hall, colleagues. I don't know if you can see.
Now we still only see your the notes or the things that you are sharing. We can unfortunately not see the president.
Oh, how do I stop sharing?
We can see
There,
see you
can you
on
see
the
me
screen.
now?
Yes,
Can
we
you
can
Yes.
see me now?
Yes, we can see
Yes.
you now.
So I'm currently standing in Queen's Hall, and we've missed the president actually. But you'll see behind me, there's different dignitaries. And this is Queen's Hall of Parliament. This is where in the past, when you used to see the Sona address, they used to walk through the Library of Parliament. I actually missed him. Damn, sorry. And then, was he so clear? And this is my colleague Fikile. She's one of the reference librarians. Oh, hi. Morning. She's one of the qualified and
Morning.
intelligent reference librarians who works with me. And she's responsible for helping members of Parliament and parliamentary officials find the information that they require. So this is the Library of Parliament, as you can see. I'm Suma not doing the tour because the president made me so nervous. And I don't have a camera or anything. So this is the Library of Parliament. You're currently standing at the main floor. That desk has been here since 1885, the one that you see behind you. Has been here since 1885. It used to be behind these doors, these glass doors that you see here. So back in the day when Sona happened at Parliament, the president used to walk through that door and we had to move that desk every year just so that the president could actually come through this set of doors, which was quite funny. Then they walk through, and if you see behind me, that's Queen's Hall. And then, as you can see, I'm going to kind of tilt you. That's the second and third floor, and below, you'll see the elevator behind me. It takes you to the basement where the Mendelssohn collection is. Now, let me just move this quickly. We're still doing the official tour as we speak. Through this room, you will see that this is our journal room. This is where all the law journals are kept. Then we have the second law room, which is this one, and all books on the different kinds of law, family law, constitutional law, and all laws in other countries are kept in this room. As you can see, from the floor, to show you the floor, up to the ceiling, it's quite high. So we have these ladders all around the Library of Parliament for our library assistants who have to climb up the stairs to collect the books. Our clients are not allowed to climb the stairs at all. And then through this room, you will see the Hansards. Some of them are dating from 1910, as I said earlier. And when that fire happened at Parliament in 2022, the Library of Parliament was not affected in this part of the building. What was affected was the actual basement where some of our annexures and stuff were kept. And as you can see up there, through second floor, that's my office. And then there's the third floor. So, do you have any questions so far? Did I make you dizzy? I made myself dizzy. I think next time when Liasa's back in Cape Town, you should come visit the Library of Parliament. Or if you don't want to wait for Liasa, you can always just set up a meeting and come visit the Library of Parliament. Are you still there?
We are still here. Thank you, Maimuna. I know it's terrifying when you can't see the people and you just keep on talking. It was so nice to see the libraries inside. It's always a very impressive building to visit. We'll appreciate it if you continue with your talk. Thank you.
Okay, no problem. I'm going to stop my video. I'm going to share my screen again. Let's go back here. And then, which one is it? So, the Library of Parliament has got the ICT component, which underpins all of the processes within the library. If this library was established in 1885, we had a card catalog system. We then went from the card catalog system to InMagic, and from InMagic, we're now using Circe Dynamics by UKS, and that is called workflows. We call it workflows. It's essentially our library management system. So we have, and we're also currently moving into Blue Cloud, which is also offered by UKS. So our LMS will then be stored into the cloud computing environment. So all the processes within the Library of Parliament is underpinned by ICT. We've got client services, which comprises of, as I said earlier on, the reference and information services, as well as the rare and historical collection. So we've got two sets of librarians. We've got Fikile and her other colleagues, Amanda and Zimkita and Cindy, who do queries that emanate from 1994 up until today. Then we've got Mr. Kasuji, Sadek Kasuji. He works in our rare and historical section, and he deals with queries from 1993 up till the 1600s when Jan van Riebeeck came here. So any government gazette or any legislation where you want to see what the discussion was in a debate at Parliament, he would be the person that you want to speak to, if it is anything from 1993 up. But from 1994 up until present day, Fikile would be one of the librarians I would then delegate the query to. As I said before, technology is ubiquitous. It cannot be escaped. So the Library of Parliament has focused its ability to facilitate in the generation of knowledge and knowledge sharing using IT platforms. The KM strategy speaks about the use and reuse of information. So our role is to provide services as well as collaborative spaces that support this framework. And we do this by having our library website, which is actually closed for everybody, but I'll show you where you can find information about the library. We have our collection development policies, which is underpinned by the core function of Parliament. Because we're a legal deposit library, we can only, everybody sends us a book and everybody sends us a book about gardening, but we don't necessarily keep all of those books. We look at the ones that meet the core needs of what it is that Parliament is trying to do. So our books cover the range of subjects from anatomy to zoology. We've got medicine books, etc. But it always looks at the role that Parliament plays in facilitating processes that will pass legislation that will assist the people of South Africa. That is always the core underpinned reason of why this library exists. Our role is through the development of our collection development policies, which are aligned, as I said earlier, to the core mandate of Parliament. We assist members and parliamentary officials with queries timelessly. So if, for example, a query comes through, the client always has to tell us by what time or day they want this information delivered. I mean, we work, even though it's no longer COVID, people assume that the librarians have to be available at all times of the day. I mean, Fikile got a request last night at 7:30, but she works till 5. And the client expected that information by 9 this morning. So she came in earlier so that she could meet the deadline that was put upon her. Our queries get audited every year to see that if we've met the performance targets that we've set. So people think that because you work at Parliament and you see what the members of Parliament are doing at SONA and in the committee meetings, that it's all disconnected and it is as raucous as it is when it's SONA. It's actually not. There's a lot of hard work happening behind the scenes that people don't necessarily aware of. Our role is to foster relationships with stakeholders, and that includes people outside of Parliament, which is you, and also within the institution. We disseminate and proactively engage with ourselves and our stakeholders to provide a holistic service. I'm going to share with you also one of the examples of what we do on a regular basis as part of knowledge sharing, content sharing, and dissemination in the Library of Parliament. There are 1,300 people working at Parliament. That does not include the members of Parliament, which is 400 people. So we have different platforms in which we distribute the information available at the fingertips that they need. We do user education on a regular basis. I often have somebody from LexisNexis who does a session, but then the EBSCO sessions on how to do user ed, how to get our users to be able to find the information they require is done by the faculty, not the faculty librarians, the reference librarians, Fikile. So we not only provide a reactive service, but we also do a proactive service. Our vision is to implement the development of information portals for specific key trends such as BRICS, climate change, sustainable development, renewable energy. Our vision is to encourage dialogues within the library to facilitate changes of process and have librarians actively support the researchers who work at Parliament, the members of Parliament, and the committee work that is being done at Parliament. I saw a quote that said, bad libraries build collections, good libraries build services, and great libraries build communities. So if the role of Parliament is to build a better life for the people of South Africa, and if the library is always the heart of any institution, the Library of Parliament is at the heart of this transformative Parliament of South Africa. We exist to help members of Parliament improve the quality of life of South Africans and ensure enduring equality in our society. The Library of Parliament is the heart of Parliament, and not only because of what it is that our collection has, but because of the services we offer to members of Parliament so that they can achieve their mandate to represent the people of South Africa. They cannot fulfill their role if they are not kept abreast with the latest developments. It is my opinion that the Library of Parliament does contribute to building our communities. We ensure that we facilitate seamless access to relevant information that is used by members of Parliament, as well as the researchers and parliamentary staff, to create informed policies that add value to the people of South Africa. So before I go any further and ask questions, I'm going to stop sharing this screen, and then I'm going to open up our website so that I can show you a little bit more about Parliament, how to access, how our users access the information that we have. For anyone who wants to know more about Parliament and the role of the library, on Parliament's website, under the Administration tab, you have the Library of Parliament. And in here, there'll be an introduction on what services are available, when the library existed, and the committees that we serve, the services we offer. We do have an interlibrary loan services, but the problem is at the moment our post office is closed because of the fire. So we're kind of struggling to get information sent via post, but we do have courier services. These are the resources that the library subscribes to and have access to, and then our contact details and our office hours are available. I'm going to go to our website so that you can see what it is all about. So to access our website, before I forget, under library services, you will, not library services, under library resources, you can have access to our search facility, which is like your discovery platform, right? So if you want to see what is available on anything in our library, you can actually search here. So if I search for knowledge management, it'll tell you what the Library of Parliament has available in its collection on, let's say, for example, knowledge management. And on the left-hand side, I'm speaking to librarians, I don't need to tell you about filters, but it's default to Library of Parliament. And you would be able to see the amount of articles and books that we have that speaks to that, and then we filter. Our website is only for internal use. So you'll see that it will require your Parliament network credentials. So once I log in, it will take me to our web page, which looks like this. And you will see there's the page that we have. We call these information portals. If I click on focus on climate change, it'll take you to a specific page that speaks about COP, what the findings were at COP27, what the Parliamentary Research Unit did on climate change in 2022 and what they're doing for the last one that was held last year in 2023. We also have ebooks available that the library has purchased that speaks to climate change, as well as articles that we've created like a reading list for clients to be able to see what's the most recent information on this particular topic. So if I wanted to, I could click on this here. And once I do that, it'll open up another screen asking me to authenticate. And then the client has an ease of access to the information that they need. So what we've kind of done is we've taken pockets of information that we know members of Parliament need, and we've customized it to their specific needs and created these information portals. We have our quick links. We've got Press Reader. We've got different databases that we subscribe to as well, Jupyter, JSTOR, EBSCO, My LexisNexis, and also the Parliamentary Monitoring Group. As part of our knowledge sharing, we also, just hold on. How do I get back here? I'm going to just open something quickly before I go to that. Just so I'm going to share another screen with you. Can you see the screen? I'm assuming you can.
Yes,
Okay.
it says Library of Parliament, gender-based violence.
Okay.
You should say.
Yes. So we call these reading lists on a regular basis every month. The librarians collate articles and ebooks of relevance that speak to specific topics, and we circulate it to members of parliament and parliamentary officials as an information alert. As you can see, we've done things on the last 5 years, what's available on JSTOR, what's available on Subinet, and then we've looked at what is available in our collection itself. Then we've given the title, the authors, a brief summary, and then it gives you a hyperlink to that particular article so that they don't have to come back and say, oh, but where is this? We didn't find it. Then we also put in a link, and all of this information is then the usage information is used to support and underpin our decision to procure or cancel certain subscriptions to resources. And then we've also got what journals discuss that particular topic. So these are all the initiatives that we use to actually share and do content sharing and dissemination with our clients. Do you have any questions? That is the end of my presentation. I hope I didn't go too fast, and I'm sorry. If you want me to go back to the actual Queen's Hall now that it's quiet, so you can see a bit more about the building and how rich in architectural heritage it is. I can even step outside and show you the front of the NCOP building, and then you can just let me know. If I figure out how to stop sharing my screen, that would be great. Can stop. There we go. Stop share.
Maimuna, we will appreciate it if you can show us the Queen's Hall again and maybe the front of the NCOP building. And then there's just one question. Someone is asking, will you please avail this presentation to us?
Sure, I will. It's got all my notes in, but I will.
The notes doesn't matter.
Okay. Yes, I will.
Yes, someone else also saying, may we please have the tour again because it's so interesting. I just want to find out if I, as say for instance, myself and my family come to Cape Town, can we visit the Parliament Library, or
yes, you can.
How does it work?
So what you basically have to do is send myself an email or library at Parliament. So we have a general email that you'll find under our website or under that information page I showed you. And basically it comes to my inbox actually. And then I would then respond. You tell me what date, what time you'll be here. Then I alert the protection services at Parliament. So you can't come here without your ID, number one. If you're going to bring your kids, bring their birth certificates. Because as I'm going to show you the tour now again, but while you're walking through, you'll see a lot of police. You'll see a lot of places where you are required to put your bag through the scanners, like at the airport and stuff like that. We once hosted a book launch, and somebody came with mace. You know, the mace that ladies carry in their bag, and the police confiscated it. The person could only get it after the event. They lock it up and they keep it one side. So don't come with anything like a nail file or things like that. They're going to take it away from you. Again, I'll start again with you. I'm going to go to the front of the NCOP building, and then I'll walk through what it is that a normal person such as yourself would see when you come here. So just bear with me. I know you're very close to my face. Yes, do I look okay? I didn't wear makeup and I didn't sleep well last night, but I'm here.
Maimuna, we just have a question. People, someone asking, do the librarians really have to climb those ladders to get to the books?
No, they don't climb the ladder. They don't climb the ladder. We have library assistants to do that. I've tried it 3 times. I'm afraid of heights. Doesn't work great if you're afraid of heights. That I can tell you. So, you see this, the angle of the sun is bad. Hey,
someone wants to know. What
Mm.
is the name of the library system that you use?
It's Cersei Dynamics UKS workflows. Workflows. I don't know what we call it workflows. I don't know what the name is. Sorry. That is the NCOP building. And they are the steps that I told you about. And as you can see to that side, you'll see the presidency. That was a building that was bought by somebody named surname Mark in 19 something. And then the city bought it over, Parliament bought it over. So a lot of committee meetings happening there. To this side behind me is the Guru building, as well as the National Assembly and the National and Old Assembly that burnt out. Now, you know, back in the day, Putwood was stabbed in the Old Assembly. So that seat is actually burnt out now, but his bloodstain was still in that part of the building. So again, I'm just showing you the steps. So when you come in, you see these steps. And when you walk in, I'm going to walk with my face this way. When you walk in, you'll see these. And I can't show you the parliamentary policeman. So I'm going to face the camera to me. But once you come in, you'll see this. I also have a tour I did with one of the senior managers at Parliament, where he walks in and he shows you Queen's Hall. This is Queen's Hall. So in Queen's Hall, you will see upstairs, we used to have the old flag here. Through this side, the president walked this way through to get into the gallery. And then on this side here is a replica of the mace that they use when they do sonar. And on this side here, how long does a tour take? Depends. I talk a lot, 30 minutes. Depends on you. These are donations that were given to Parliament. As you can see, these columns behind us, they're made of marble. And then you've got all of these. And then through here is the Library of Parliament. So when you come inside, people usually look at that corner. We call it the Harry Potter corner. Everybody thinks, oh, wow, it's Harry Potter. And the library resembles, you know, the dorm rooms that you kind of get there. If the query is not met, right?
Yeah, okay,
So
I
what
see
we
you
do
have
is-
heard about that question.
Yes, I saw that question. So, usually we negotiate queries. If a query comes after 7 and the librarian didn't see it, when they get it the next morning, they will ask, I've just seen your email. Can we negotiate a new time frame? Usually the client says yes. I don't know if you're aware of that time when South Africa went to the International Court of Justice. So the head researcher for the president asked us for readings that were done by, what's his name? What's his name? I forgot his name. Dulama. He did a speech on genocide back in 19 something something. And they wanted a copy of that speech. And one of our, I received the SMS or the email at 9 in the evening. Now, those are in the Hansard debates, which is currently in the back room where I showed you in the law room. And I said to them, look, what's the earliest you want it by? And she's like, as soon as possible. By the time I got to work, I usually get to work at about 7, 7:30. Then I have coffee. So I didn't have coffee that morning. I came in here, looked up the speeches, gave it to the librarian. By 9 o'clock, they had it. But generally speaking, depending on the type of query, if the length, it depends. That was a quick one, kind of quick, because we could look up the reference, what it is that they were referring to. But for example, when Fikile has to do queries on health systems in Africa as well as America and the most recent. We're not going to give somebody something that was written in 1977 for a researcher to make a paper on that. I can also share with you examples of some of the bulletins that are sent out. Just hold on, me plug in my mouse. Do you want me to show you more of the library, or is this okay? Before I go further.
I'm sure we have a good idea of what's the library looks like. You can rather share information, and then there's also a question: how often do members of parliament use the library or visit the library physically?
I often regularly have a lot of the DA members come in the library a lot of the EFF members coming into the library a lot. So it depends on their needs or when committee meetings are being held in the institution. It all depends on that. So because we open on a Friday, usually people leave early, but some meetings are held. So Monday and Fridays is what is called constituent days. Those are the days when members of parliament don't have committee work at parliament. But with COVID and everything, a lot of that has changed. So a lot of them will come for meetings on a Monday and a Friday. So usually when the library tries to do query user education, we do it on a Monday and Friday because there's less committee meetings. But I've been here on a Friday and members of parliament have walked in and then they just, oh, we just want to show the library. And also in last year, we've had a few dignitaries from Norway and China visit the Library of Parliament. Then a member of parliament usually accompanies them. We've recently had school learners from that warm place, Pella, in the Northern Cape, come to the Library of Parliament on a tour. And, you know, we amend our presentation based on our audience, obviously. I'm not going to give them the whole thing that I just did with you now. It's going to go over 10-year-olds. You can break it down for them, but it basically has to be at a level that they feel comfortable with. I'm just trying to find out this one thing. So the Parliamentary Research Unit at Parliament does a lot of presentations. Okay, just hold on. I'm going to stop sharing me because I don't think you want to see me. Just hold on. I'm going to go to the website. If you are watching the TV now, the president is actually speaking. And that's so cool because he's in the building right next to where I am, literally. Okay, so, hey? Yeah, it's on channel 408 on DSTV. Okay, so can you see my screen now? Hello?
Yes, we can see your screen. Thank you.
Okay, so we've got DSpace as well. This is our old interface, but we're working on the new one. I don't know. Let me just check. Supplies. Just trying to find this parliamentary digital archive. Yeah, this is our new DSpace that we are working on. And once we get this live, you would be able to search for anything that Parliament has published that is for public consumption on here. So this is the Parliamentary Digital Archive, which is underpinned by DSpace. I'm sure you've heard of DSpace. And you'll see that this is the demo version. I'm only showing you this because I wanted to show you what a research paper looks like. So this was recently published. This was published in 2024. It is a bulletin that the research unit at Parliament did on intergovernmental and resource matters. So if I click on here, the PDF will open for you, and you will see that we are working on putting their highlights of the state of the nation from an IRM perspective onto DSpace. And then this would be available for our end users, which is you, the people of South Africa. If you currently go to Parliament's website, I just want to show you. If you were on Parliament's website itself and you were looking for a specific, under here, you're looking for a Hansard's or any of the rules or information, and you search, this is not intuitive. It's not the kind of thing that you want it to be. We are also using, I must now share my desktop with you because you want to see our workflows. Let me just show you. Let me first open it before I go anywhere else. Once it opens, just give me a second.
Muna, while you are changing screens, here's a question that asks, does the president office approach the library to do research for the president?
Yes, we do. Like I said earlier, we recently were asked to assist with that court case that they were working on for ICJ, where they were looking at Parliament wanting to officially protest against what Israel is doing in Palestine. So they approached the Library of Parliament for research on speeches that were made by Dullah Omar on genocide, etc. And they used that in their argument. And this is from the president's office. Can you see my screen? Do you see anything on my screen?
Yes, we see it begins with common tasks and then it's
Yes.
check out,
So this is
discharging.
our library management system. And there's acquisitions, cataloging, circulation, etc. So my profile is set to circulation because of the role that I play. We can then search our catalog here. We can register users here. We issue items. I don't like the word they use. They call when you return a book a discharge. I'm like, really? Not a very nice word. So I would have said check in and check out. So this screen, this is our library management system. Any questions so far? I'm going to stop sharing my screen. I think I've actually spoken a lot. The floor is all yours if you have any questions. Other questions?
There's another question. Will the digital library collection include any audiovisual content generated by Parliament?
Yes, we have maps. We have YouTube videos on there as well of sittings in the houses. They will be on there.
And then another question is, in terms of human resources, would you say you have enough warm bodies to execute all your annual activities?
No. At the moment, we're a bit understaffed. We don't even have a chief librarian. That post has been vacant for 3 years. Things take very long in terms of human resources at Parliament. Remember, we're a public entity. All the funding we get is public funded. So yes, people think that if you're at Parliament, you rolling in the cash. We don't have enough to, I think, cover our salary bill alone. So a lot of the vacancies in the library have been paused. Parliament is also busy with an organizational realignment process. So it's basically where they look at all the departments at Parliament and see what posts are needed, what are not. They're encouraging early retirements and stuff like that. Within the library, we have staff complement of 31. We have the acquisitions department, which you know is responsible for book legal deposit material, managing legal deposit materials and procurement of books, ebooks, databases, subscription to databases, renewals of subscriptions to databases. Then we've got our metadata, which is your cataloging department. That is run by Ms. Madakana, and the acquisitions department is run by Mr. Tony Chauke. The person who's our systems librarian is Rian Thornton, and I manage the reference and information services. I have 7 people who report to me. That consists of an admin assistant. That's usually what you would call a library assistant, the one who issues our books. And then I have library assistants, which are the ones who refresh, retrieve, photocopy. We don't charge people for photocopying. We don't charge people to send a book. But I have a lot of members of parliament who are busy studying at UNISA. Oh, we need this textbook. And we often have to remind them, if it is a requirement of the institution, we will procure. But we have a set budget for our collection development policy, and we cannot exceed that. We get audited every year, and we need to say why we spent the money that we spent. If we don't spend the money we spent, so that was allocated to us, our budget gets cut. And each year the Treasury asks us to cut our budget. There's a lot of administrative processes in the institution that bogs down the work that we do. And I think because we're a legal deposit library, it's kind of nice because people like Lexis and Juta have to, by law, give us a copy. So we kind of negotiate access to some of the things. But the books is an issue because with it, let's take Lexis, for example. They've got that Lexis mobile platform. But if a new edition of a book comes out, they take the old issue off the platform, and we no longer have access to that. So if a client wants to do a retrospective comparison between a 2024 version and a 2003 version, we can't do that, even though we have on the online platform. So now we've reverted back to getting physical copies of books from Lexis and Juta. Yeah. Any other questions?
There was a question, what do you do with legal deposit books that you don't keep or don't want?
Okay, there is a legal deposit committee in the country itself. So I was, Mr. Chauke sits on that forum, as well as the chief librarian when they eventually appoint one. So whatever we don't keep, they need to register with that committee. And then if we get requests for donations, right? We get often requests from the Speaker of Parliament saying that they're opening a parliamentary constituency office in Quebeca, for example. What books do we have? And it's basically an office where members of parliament sit. Then they have a small little library, and we donate books that we don't keep to that office. And that way the people of Quebeca can visit that library, but it's not like a normal library. It's just a space where they can look at what books are there. A lot of the books that we get, for example, I don't know if you know that answer series for matric and grade 9 or 11 and that on maths and science and physics. We get that donated. We cannot sell it. We would then donate it to a school who needs it, for example. But we won't keep it in our collection because our space is limited. Thank you so much.
Attendees also ask if you can be contacted to share your collection development policy.
That collection development policy has not been ratified as yet. It is there. I will ask my colleague Tony. You can send me an email and I will forward it to him and he would then share it. It's not within my sphere and scope to share it.
Maimuna, I hereby would like to thank you. I'm sure all of us have learned a great lot about the Library of Parliament, even if it was only to see what a nice building you are sitting in. It is always so impressive to see the library and to see all the books that you have in there. And thank you for sharing the information with us. I'm sure some of us might visit the Parliament website more often and look for books and stuff. So yeah, no, I think thank you so very much.
You are
We really
most welcome.
appreciate your time and your presentation.
Thank you so much. I often, when I do user ed with my users, I tell them, because I worked at UWC in Stellenbosch, I use that as a default. So if you want to know what they have, search there, and we can't access it, you'll get it via interlibrary loans. So it's the same for other institutions. If you want to know what we have, search on our interface on Parliament's website. Then you send me an email and I'll see if I can get you a copy, no charge.
Thank you so very much.
You're
Maimuna,
most
we
welcome.
really appreciate and thank you for your time. We really appreciate that you was available to assist us. I'm speaking on behalf of everybody. Thank you so much, and maybe you will get a few emails from the library people that want to come and visit you to see how
Okay.
beautiful your place
I'm
is.
going to put my email in the chat.
Thank you so much.
And my number.
Thank you
And
very much for
library
sharing
email.
that.
Actually, you know, I used to put my cell phone number, it's my private phone number, on Parliament's website during COVID, and you won't believe how many people called me.
Yeah, I can believe people did use that number quite often, and we don't want to disturb you at 10 or 11 at night.
Thank you so much for listening and for your attention. And I will, must I send it to you, Matilda, my presentation?
I think that would be the easiest. Then I can just share it with whoever wants to see it.
Okay.
Yeah, as you have my email address, I think let's do it like that.
Do you want me to send you a copy of our reading list as well so that people can have an example of what it is that we do or
Yes,
not?
please. No, you can please send that. It would be very nice.
No problem. If you don't mind, may I be excused from the meeting? I know that you have other matters.
You may be excused. We really appreciate your time.
Thank you so much, colleagues. Hopefully you'll come visit us soon in Cape Town, and we look forward to meeting you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Colleagues, this then brings us to the end of the meeting. I just want to announce that our next meeting will be on 18 April. Make a space in the library, and that will be a physical or an eye-to-eye meeting, as we will be visiting, hopefully, the University of the Free State to have a look at their maker space and what they are doing there. Colleagues, thank you for everybody's time, and thank you for participating and asking questions. It is very nice when people do participate and the speaker can give us all the answers. Have a nice day, and then we close this meeting. Thank you so much.